everybody, welcome to the Geekdom. I might sound a little off because I have been sick. I had like this terrible sore throat, and now it's kind of like a cold. I don't know, I've been coughing and my throat feels really like ragged. So that's why I've been holding off on doing this video, but I felt like I couldn't hold off any longer. So we'll see how this turns out. My voice might come in and out. Gosh, I could have sworn I did not sound this bad. Oh well. Anyways, I'm here with another Game of Thrones episode review, and this is for the finale episode, so yay! Anyways, let's get moving. I could finally go on with my regular routine, which is going character by character, and not really in chronological order or the order that the episode went in, but you guys have watched it so you guys can follow, and also I compare the show to the books, and so it's up to you if you want to continue. You have been warned, and let's get started. I want to start with Tyrion, who wakes up and Pycelle's over him, and Tyrion looks a little bit scared because I know Pycelle and he are enemies for what happened earlier, and all of a sudden Pycelle has like this sass. Like, I understand he doesn't like Tyrion, but like this sassy attitude was kind of off character for Pycelle. So I don't know, all of a sudden he just had some life to him and some sass, which was a little bit different than the Pycelle we were getting, who was just very old and slow. And so he just gets back at him. He's messing with Tyrion. We find out Tyrion, since his father's come in, he lost his position as Hand, and it looks like nobody has given him credit for anything, and they're not even going to give him another position of power. It's just like he's just there, and everything that he did is just discredited and didn't happen. And it's kind of a shame because we saw how great of a hand Tyrion was and how great of a leader he was and could have been, and so it's kind of a shame. Later we have Varys come in, visit Tyrion. He's telling him that it was Cersei who sent that member of the Kingsguard to kill him. What was it, Meryn? Sir Meryn Trant? I can't remember. But yeah, it was Cersei. In the books, it's a bit of a mystery, but Tyrion always had his suspicion that it was Cersei, and George R. R. Martin never really confirmed it. So in this episode, we get a confirmation that it was Cersei. And Varys tells Tyrion also that he can't have contact with him, even though he is friends with him or whatever. I don't know if this is genuine friendship or what, but Varys leaves him with one act of kindness, which is bring Shae to him safely. And Shae comes up to him, and they have this cute little conversation, and you know, Shae, this scene actually shows that Shae is the opposite of the Shae from the books. The Shae from the books is exactly what Tyrion said, just a whore he pays to tell him lies, and in the book that's exactly how it was. In this scene, we see that Shae is the opposite. She doesn't care about the money. She doesn't care about any of that. She doesn't want to tell him lies. She wants to run away with him. She wants to love him, and she wants to have fun with him. And I just loved it. I teared up in this scene, and I teared up the second time I watched it, and I really like this relationship that Tyrion has with Shae. Next, I want to get into Joffrey. And Joffrey proclaims Lord Tywin Hand, which we knew what was going to happen when Tywin came to King's Landing. Littlefinger gets Harrenhal and a bunch of little honors, because what did he do again? Oh, he set up Loras and I guess the Loras alliance with Tywin, and so he gets all that. And then Joffrey allows Loras to ask a favor, and Loras is like, marry my sister. And we already knew this is what Marjorie wanted, and so yeah, eventually Joffrey does reject Sansa and goes for Marjorie, and this scene was just so weird. Marjorie is like, she's gonna play the Game of Thrones like a beast, I bet you. Like, I really want to see Marjorie play the Game of Thrones. I mean, right off the bat, we saw her, like, you know, flattering Joffrey, which is exactly the way you get to Joffrey's head. And, yeah, it was just amazing. And so, I really want to know what's going to happen there now that he's engaged to Marjorie now, because I'm pretty sure she's not going to take abuse, and her family ties and her alliances with her family especially are very strong, and they're not going to take that either. And I'm pretty sure Cersei doesn't want to lose that alliance with the Tyrells, so I'm sure nobody wants Joffrey abusing Marjorie. And so I want to know what's going to happen there. And next we see Sansa, and she walks away and she's laughing her ass off, and I just think that that scene was like perfect, because she's like, she thinks she's off, and she thinks she's probably the happiest girl in the world at that moment, and she thinks that she's going to have everything happen perfectly now. And then Littlefinger comes along and says, look, you are still in danger. You are Joffrey's plaything, and he does not like to lose his toys. And like I said, like how Marjorie doesn't look like she's gonna take abuse from Joffrey, and it doesn't look like it'd be a good political move for him to abuse Marjorie. He's gonna need a plaything, and that's gonna be Sansa. So he's telling her, like, look, I'll help you escape. Sansa still doesn't really trust him, so she's hesitant, and we'll see what happens there. And they're gonna set up, I guess, Sansa's escape, or Littlefinger helping her escape, something. And another scene we got was a Raw scene, and it looks like they're planning to use her as a spy. It seems like Littlefinger was using her as a spy, and now Varys wants to use her as a spy, or something like that. And I'm just like, please, just drop Roz. I mean, add her where she's convenient, like you did with the Tyrion and Cersei scene where Cersei thought she had Tyrion's whore. That was convenient, but her as a spy working for Varys, I mean, it could be interesting, but there's so much going on that I don't know if we have time to spare for her. I don't know. So we'll see what happens there. I also want to get into Winterfell. I'll just get Winterfell over with. Theon's talking to Maester Luwin, and Maester Luwin's like, you're surrounded because the northern men finally came up. And so Maester Luwin's like, run for the wall. I can help you escape their secret tunnels. Like, you know, once you hit the wall, no one can touch you. Yes, you'll be in a life of servitude, but hey. And Theon's like, no. And they try to make you sympathize with him. And I do to a certain extent, because I understand that he was a captive or whatever, and you know, he doesn't really owe anything to the Starks, especially since he was their prisoner. But what he did was way over the top and very disrespectful to a house that treated him with the utmost respect. And even Robb would have, you know, Robb set him free basically, and he also would have tried to make sure that Theon became Lord of, I forget the Iron Lands. I forget what the real name is. The Iron Islands. I'm sure Robb would have made sure that Theon was Lord of that, and would have supported him in that. And you know, so I just think Theon made a huge mistake and was very cruel and I don't know, I can't sympathize with him. I don't care what kind of logic you throw at me, but no, I can't. However, Theon's speech was really cool. I enjoyed it. And, but yeah, he's giving the speech, and you could tell he was saying things that the Iron Men kind of really don't care about, like having a statue erected for them. I'm pretty sure that's something the Iron Men don't care about, and glory and all that. I think they just care about living for the now. So, anyways, he gets knocked over the head by that guy who was just poisoning his ear, basically, which is what I saw it as. I think he's Cleft Jaw, something, Dagmar Cleft Jaw, I don't know. And yeah, he gets knocked over the head and betrayed by his own people or whatever, even though we know they would never really like Theon. And then they stabbed Maester Luwin, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you don't just kill Maester Luwin. That was like a shock. Like, you just like stab, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is that over? But then we get Bran scene, and Winterfell is burned. Now, I don't know if the northern men who were there to save Winterfell and Bran and Rickon and all that were the ones who burned it, or if it was the Iron Men on their way out, or what happened there. I really don't know. I mean, I know the book version, but it's very different here in the show version. And then we see Maester Luwin is still alive, and this scene is so touching because I've mentioned this before. The Starks have this connection with their men, with their northern men, that even if you don't have the name Stark, you're still family. So Maester Luwin was like the grandfather, and it was just so sad to see him dying, and he gives his last words to Bran, Rickon, and Osha, and eventually Bran and Rickon leave with Hodor, and Osha stays behind a little bit, long enough to give Luwin a mercy death, which he asked for, and that was just, it was sad. I hate to see Maester Luwin go, but I think it was done well, that scene. Next, I want to talk about Brienne and Jaime, and I love them together. I've already said this, and it's just like the books. They're bantering and whatever, and you know, they come across these 3 women hanged for serving Lannister men, which is very harsh, but George R. R. Martin does not skimp out on the harsh, cruel realities of warfare, even though the Starks are seen as, you know, so honorable and so easy to like because they're honorable and have these great qualities. The men that are fighting for them aren't Starks and don't have that honor so much, so they'll kill innocent women just simply for sleeping with Lannisters or serving Lannisters at an inn, and you know, it's warfare, and even though I don't think it's alright, I love how George R. R. Martin includes all this. So, you know, you wouldn't really, you loving the Starks don't want to think of the Stark men or the men fighting for the Starks would do something like that, but they do, and I think that's very important, and I really like that. But anyways, eventually it comes down to the men who hung those women finding Brienne and Jaime on the street, or on the road, and they're like, who are you, blah blah blah. Finally one of them recognizes Jaime, and Brienne has to kick ass, and she does that very well, and you can see Jaime is very intrigued because he's been wanting to fight her in combat for a while, and you know, he always scoffs at her being a woman, and now he sees that she's very capable, and you can see he's intrigued. And because the men who hung the women said that 2 suffered like nice, clean, quick deaths and 1 didn't, Brienne like slowly stabs one of the men because she killed too quickly, and the last one she slowly kills him, and like it's very brutal and it's very gruesome and harsh. And you see Jaime is like, he's like, whoa, like I don't know if he's intimidated, intrigued, whatever, probably both. We'll see. I definitely look forward to seeing more of their scenes, and they're doing it perfectly, exactly how I like. How, you know, you get their scenes, you get entertained, but it's not taking up too much time, and it's not too short either. So I think that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Next we have Robb, and I think the scene was done wrong because he tells his mom that he plans to marry that girl, Talisa. Did I finally get her name? Anyways, what's her face? And I just think that was kind of stupid. I think he should have just married her anyways. But he tells his mom that he's gonna marry her, and she's like, no, like, look, you made vows, you made promises, you know, this is also key for your battle. He's not even listening to his mom, and so I think that's very not Robb. I know he's pissed off at his mom for letting Jaime go, which is, you know, kind of an excuse for why he doesn't listen to her, but I don't know, I feel like Robb would listen to his mom's counsel, so that's kind of why I don't like how he told his mom that his plans. I think it would be better if they just got married behind everyone's back. And also, I don't know, I still don't see the relationship as convincing. I felt like it was all a dream, like that whole relationship. There was no chemistry, there was no spark, no fire. That relationship is just so bland, and it's not even a fling. I didn't get anything from that relationship. It's not like Tyrion and Shay. It's not even like Cersei and Robert, who didn't even love each other. It wasn't like any relationship. There's just nothing there, and so I'm just like, what are they doing? Like, it seems like they're trying to make it a romantic relationship. Like, yes, they had a fling, they fell in love, now they're gonna get married, and it's not convincing. So I just think it's stupid. I don't know. And I think it would have been better if it was an honor marriage, because that would be more like Robb. Like Robb, he took the girl's innocence, he took her maidenhood, and therefore now he feels bad and he feels obligated to marry her because he took her virginity. That would be more convincing. That would be more Stark-like, more Robb-like. But that's not what happened. And they also got married under the Seven, and I don't know. I know Robb takes after his mother in looks, but I felt like he was very like his father and would have married like under the old gods. I don't know. So this whole thing is not convincing, and I think it would have been better if it was an honor marriage, because, you know, he took her virginity, and so now he feels like, holy crap, I owe her to marry her because I'm not going to leave her, you know, possibly with child, her maidenhead taken. You know, that'd be just rude. And I think that would have been better and more convincing, but they didn't do that. And so I'm just disappointed with this whole relationship with whatever her name is. Anyways, we move on with Stannis, and like, he's freaking upset. Like, he killed his brother to no avail. He went to battle to no avail, all on the word and promises of Melisandre, and he ends up choking her out. And I'm like, kill her, Stannis, kill the red. Ugh. And he doesn't, and she still listens to her poison, and I was just like, kill her already, just kill her, and he doesn't. And here we see a little more of her fanatic self for her red god. We see that Stannis is some type of chosen one. In the books we give more details to his prophecy or whatever. He's supposed to be Azor's Eye or something. Something to that nature. Here she just calls him, like, you know, he's filled with her god, he's like has a destiny. Not like the books, no prophecy like the books, but we see more like of a reason for her to be following him. He's supposed to do something great for her god or something like that. Which it kind of bothers me because we're not given much about his prophecy and we don't really know why she's following him, why he's so important. And I really want more of that. Like, why is she, this powerful, powerful woman, backing Stannis? And he hasn't really done much. I don't know. So we end with her telling him to look in the fire. And he apparently sees something, which I honestly don't think he sees anything. Or if he does see anything, he's just seeing what he wants to see. So, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Let's see. Did I skip anything? Let's just make sure. Oh, well. And then we get Daenerys with the House of the Undying, which I was looking forward to, but I was also very scared to see. So she finally makes it in there, and she sees a room full of ashes, and I think this room is the throne room in King's Landing. I'm not sure. I didn't get to see very much. And then after that, she's at the wall. And so this is kind of prophetic. And so after the wall, apparently she's supposed to be there or something, who knows. And then after that, she sees a tent, and in it is Drogo with their child, or their child that would have been. And this scene is just so heart-wrenching because, you know, it was beautiful. Like, Khal Drogo, very poetic, very romantic guy, and it was a very nice scene. And it's sad because Dany has to leave with the prophecy that Mary Masdur left her. And I wrote the prophecy down the way Mary Masdur said it, which was, when the sun rises in the west and sets in the east, when the seas go dry and mountains blow in the wind like leaves, when your womb quickens again and you bear a living child, then he will return, not before. So she tells herself this because she knows this isn't real. Drogo is gone, and I have to accept that, and I have to move on. And it was very touching and very sad. Anyways, ultimately, I was disappointed with the prophecies that they showed because there were so many more in the book, and all of them important, and they didn't even do the ones that remotely resembled the original ones quite correctly. But it doesn't seem the show's focusing on prophecy. It seems to be avoiding it altogether, like we've seen with Stannis. So I was kind of expecting this. I was surprised that they did any prophetic thing at all. And later she moves on and she finds her dragons, and we find out that the dragons make her, the warlock, strong, which is why they want her there. And it seems maybe perhaps that's why they gave her the Drogo scene, because they were expecting her to just stay there in the little fantasy land, and, you know, she wouldn't have to be captured, but she moved on. And finally the warlocks are like, look, you know, you're going to stay here with your dragons because you make them stronger and they make us stronger. And so they keep her. And I think this scene was like super cheesy but also cool at the same time. I don't know, it was really cheesy. I can't get over it. Like, she says the word for fire and the dragons, you know, roast the warlock. And that's kind of how it happened in the books. But I don't know. I felt like it was really cheesy, but cool at the same time. I don't know. I can't really explain it. I think it was I think the cheesiest part was when the dragon, like, burned off its chain or whatever. I don't know. I thought it was like, this is like too perfect sequence of events to be George R. R. Martin. Like, something always goes wrong with George R. R. Martin's world, and all this happened like so perfectly, so conveniently, and I was like, that's not really George R. R. Martin. So maybe that's why I felt like it was cheesy. But anyways, after that, Daenerys catches Soxos, I believe. I don't know, with her handmaiden, the one that she, you know, she really loves her handmaidens and they're like sisters to her. So it was just like, whoa, are you kidding me? Like, that was a surprise because after everything Dany has done for them, like, whoa. And I love how Daenerys doesn't even give her the time of day. She doesn't even give her a sympathetic look like, sorry, but I have to kill you. No, none of that. She's just like, okay, let's open that safe. And they do, and there's nothing in there. So it's all kind of like a lie. And it seems like, I don't know, because it's just weird. Because if it was all a setup to get her dragons, I don't know. It's like, how did they know that she was coming? And maybe the warlocks knew. I don't know. Just I'm not even going to go down that road. Let's move on. And then, so yeah, it looks like it was all a lie, and she just locks them in the safe, and she's like, okay, let's take what is real and let's go. So it leaves you off like they are going to buy a ship and start making progress towards Westeros. And I dislike this because, spoiler if you haven't read the books, book 5, she's still doing nothing. Sorry. And this makes it seem like she's going to make progress, she's going to start going to Westeros, she's going to buy a ship, and I don't know, because she goes through a lot of struggles, and I love watching her struggles, at least book 1, 2, and 3. And, yeah, nothing happens, and here they're making you seem like she's on her way to Westeros. That's where she's going. And I don't know. It's not right to me. It's not sitting well with me. But anyways, let's move on to Jon Snow. And Jon Snow scene, Qhorin finally attacks. We got his intentions in a previous episode that Qhorin wants Jon Snow to kill him in order to convince the wildlings that Jon Snow is going to switch sides. He's going to become a wildling now. That way Jon Snow can infiltrate the wildling system from the inside. So what I really liked about this scene was I think it was perfect because they showed that Qhorin is the better fighter. We saw that from their little fight scene, that Qhorin could have dispatched Jon Snow in an instant. And we see that, you know, Qhorin is constantly leaving like his spaces open, but in an obvious manner. And the first time I thought he killed Qhorin in anger because, you know, he was talking about his father, his mother, and the second time I saw Jon Snow hesitate, which means he didn't want to kill Qhorin, which means he didn't kill him in anger. And we also saw Qhorin left himself very open, very vulnerable, which he could have easily blocked and killed Jon Snow. So we see the plan unfold, and Jon Snow hesitates, kills Qhorin, and has this very sad look on his face, but he can't really reveal any emotion at this moment. It's a crucial moment that he kills him without any remorse. And Qhorin leaves him with, like, some quote, I think, from the vows, like, we are the watchers of the night, or something like that, to remind Jon Snow his role and who he is. He's a crow, and he always will be. So now we're going to see Mance Rider, or whatever, the King Beyond the Wall, which I'm looking forward to. Like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. I'm not even going to look at the casting for him. I want to see him in the show. I'm not going to look at anything. No, I'm going to see it, like, for the first time in the show. And hopefully nobody spoils me for that. I skipped Arya, didn't I? Because I know Arya's in here somewhere. Is she? Yes. I took notes on her too. Where is she? Oh, there she is. Sorry. She has like one line. But anyways, with Arya, we leave Jaqen, and this is Jaqen's last scene with us. And he was completely underused, and we didn't get the bathtub scene. So I'm like, ugh. So if you guys have, just spam my wall on Facebook with Jaqen pictures, and I'll love you forever. But Anyways, it was a very bland scene, but the important thing is he gives her a coin, and it seems like we find out he's a faceless man, and it seems like he sees potential in Arya for her to become a faceless woman, I guess. And he gives her coins like, look, this coin, you can get it to come with me to get training. And all you have to do is find someone from Bravos and say, Valar Morghulis? I don't know. And, yeah. And so that's how they leave off. And it seems like Arya has other plans. She wants to find her family. But we know she has this other option available to her in the future. Lastly, I want to leave off with the last scene, which is basically, you know, we get little glimpses of Sam and his 2 friends, and so we got one of those, and then we hear 1 blast, and they're like, oh crap, they're back, yay. 2 blasts are like, oh my gosh, wildlings, let's get down. 3 blasts, what? And they just freak the hell out. Others are coming, or at least that's what the 3 blasts means. Nobody has seen these things in many, many years. And they all run off, and Sam falls, and it's stupid, this scene, because I was very upset, because he falls, and this other comes up to him, like a legit other, not those whites, those zombie things, no, a legit intelligent being, an other, looks at him, and I'm like, no, like, if that thing looked at Sam, he'd be dead in all of 2 seconds. These others, they're as cold as their environment. They do not like living creatures. They would have killed him. I don't know. So I don't like how the other looks at Sam. I think, you know, Sam should have just been hidden away or something. But anyways, let's go past that. And the others look so cool. Like, it was just like George R. R. Martin's world coming to life. Like, this has been like the pinnacle experience of a lifetime, was looking at these others. I mean, we have the regular zombie whites, and there's a difference. They're like, they get killed by the others and they get turned into like these zombie things, and we don't really know much about these people or magical creatures, and here they are. And so you see all the zombies, and then the ones riding like undead horses. Like, I didn't know they could turn animals undead. I don't know if it's just the horses or what, but then we have these others, and they are just amazing looking, like amazing. I was so impressed. And then also I watched Otaku Assemble channel with Larry Williams as the host, and his theory, I was like, oh my god, like, how did I not think of that? Because we don't really know anything about the others, and he said that they're spirits of the first men, and I was like, that seems really, really cool, and I really like that idea, and it could be true. The only thing is just, you know, I think the first men were they always there? Or did they come ashore also? Because I know, like, the children of the forest, which I don't think they really talk about, were like the first creatures there, and then like the others have always been there, but they could very well be spirits of the first men. I really don't know. I haven't really read theories on the others. We've always speculated, but I don't know. We'll see. So what do you guys think the others are? I really can't say. Anyways, that's one question, but another question I'm going to leave you off is one that a friend of mine on Twitter asked me, and I don't really know his YouTube name. If I find it out, I'll put it in a bubble, but it's, if you were the king or queen of Westeros, who would be on your small council, members of the Queen's or King's Guard, husband, wife, and how many kids? Okay, so if I was queen, I would have on my small council, oh, this is so hard, Stannis, he has multiple talents, but I want him for warfare. I'd have Maester Luwin, again, multiple talents, but I'd use him as Master of Coin, as well as his masterly arts. I need someone for Maester of Coin, and I don't know who's smart with money. I don't want Littlefinger. No, that little trifling ass. No. And I'd want, who else? Someone needs to be on my spell council. I had like people in my head because I looked up this question, but I can't really think. I had Stannis, Maester Pycelle. I had someone else. A Master of Coin, a Maester, and a warfare person. Oh, I'd have Daenerys. I'd have Daenerys because she would help me be like reformist and progressive and in charge of social issues. And then I would have the Hound as the, what is it, in charge of the City Watch. And then I would have members of my Queen's Guard. I think there's 7, but I can't really think of all 7. I know I'd have Ned Stark for sure. He'd be like the leader of the guard. What is it? Barristan the Bold. He would definitely be staying on there. I would have Jon Snow, and I had 2 more, but I can't really think of. Oh, Brienne of Tarth for sure. And I can't really think of much. If I do think of the rest, I'll add them in bubbles as well. And obviously my husband would be Tyrion, and we would rule like amazing. Like, I won't be that queen. We'll be like, oh, your job is just to bear children and look pretty. No, I'm queen. Like, I am ruling. He is the one who's hiding behind my skirts. Sorry, Tyrion, I will listen to your counsel. We will rule together. But if you think you're better than me, no, you will go. And we will have 1 kid. I don't care if it's a boy or a girl, because I'm not popping out 10 babies. I'll pop out 1, but I'm not there. I'm not a baby making machine. So that's what's going to happen. And I leave the question for you. So you figure it out. I know this is a very long video, and I hope you can bear with me. I really didn't mean for it to be this long, but this episode I had a lot to talk about. So thank you for your time. Bye.